Morning, peeps. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's jump straight in and start with this one. Carl Froch. AJ is past his best. He's probably got no real legacy. Bloody hell, Carl. I mean, don't hold back, mate. I love Carl Froch. Absolutely love him. I've been lucky enough to work with him a couple of times. I follow his YouTube channel. He's a character, a crazy character, by the way. But look, he always says what he wants. He says what he wants. He doesn't hold back. Before we talk about that, I spoke to someone yesterday. Who was it? Boxing King Media, I think. And he asked me, Carl or Canelo at 168. And look, before you guys immediately jump to Canelo, let's have a think about this before you do that. Because Carl was a very, very good fighter. I don't think he gets the respect he deserves. Maybe people didn't like his style of fighting, I don't know. But you look at that resume. Carl's resume is solid. Win or lose, it's a solid resume. I was just trying to think of the best Carl Froch. It's easy to say the best Canelo at 168 because it was so recent. So you just have to look at those performances. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, right? That's how he became undisputed. The best Carl Froch was probably Lucien Boutte back against the wall. What a performance that was. Arthur Abraham away from home. Mikhail Kessler too. Those were good performances. And even the way in which I know it was controversial in the end, but the first George Groves fight, to get up off the canvas and get smashed up by George and then somehow find something in those rounds 8 and 9. I know Howard Foster jumped in, but you know. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I would maybe swing Carl, maybe. Don't shoot me down. But I think Carl, as good as those performances were from Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith and Caleb Plant, I think Carl would have beaten all three of those guys as well. But look, it's a good argument. Anyway, look, back to this one. Is AJ past his best? Probably. What was AJ's best? What was it? Was it that Klitschko win? What was it? Can AJ get back to that under Derek James? Can we see a better AJ? It will be a different version of AJ. It won't be that guy marching forward. It's not going to be that guy anymore. But could we see a better AJ that goes on and has another good 3 or 4 years? It's debatable. Look, he's got, potentially, it looks like he's got 2 or 3 more years left. We might get some good wins out of AJ. It's a might. Nothing's guaranteed in the heavyweight division. Nothing's guaranteed with Anthony Joshua. So we'll see. This is almost a statement I'd like to revisit in a couple of years to see if the Wilder fights happened, the Fury fights have happened, what happened in those fights. He's got no real legacy. It depends what Carl means by this. If Carl means legacy that gets you into the Hall of Fame, probably not, if we're being brutally honest. Obviously, Carl's in the Hall of Fame. But if you're talking legacy, which helped grow the sport of boxing in this country, he's definitely got that. So it depends what kind of legacy he's talking about here. If he's talking in-ring legacy, then an in-ring legacy that leads you into those conversations about being a Hall of Famer, then right now, maybe not. Although he was a 2-time world champion, maybe not. Maybe that's not enough. But legacy, that he'll be remembered for what he done for British boxing. I think he done a lot for British boxing, then we'll see. But look, Carl will say what Carl wants to say. And again, it's something that I think we should revisit. Maybe in a year's time, hopefully he's had a couple of fights and then we'll know where he is. Shakur Stevenson believes he'll beat the hell out of Isaac Cruz. He'll win. Not sure about beat the hell out of, I mean, this Isaac Cruz, tough. I think we saw against Gervonta. I mean, we know Gervonta as being the guy that puts you to sleep, a tough guy himself. And Isaac Cruz gave Gervonta some work. I mean, Gervonta landed some good shots. So did Isaac Cruz, right? I mean, he was going away. He wasn't going away. Look, we all believe that Shakur is this special talent, and I believe that too. But there's one thing believing it, there's another thing seeing it at 135 pounds. We need to see him in there with someone legit at 135 pounds. Do I think he'll beat someone legit? Yeah, absolutely. I do think he's a special talent. But I've said that about so many guys. Let's see what you can do against some of the elite at 135 before we anoint you the king, like a lot of people are doing. But look, fantastic fighter, and we'll see what happens. Tim Zhu, I'm staying active whilst Charlo is in Las Vegas getting smashed. I don't know, man. These Charlo twins. Look, Jamel has been active. Jamel's undisputed at 154 pounds. He's had a very, very good career. Jamal is undefeated at 160. He's not fought for 2 years. WBC champion. By the way, those are two incredible achievements. Like, so before I say what I'm going to say, those undisputed at 154 and unbeaten, although I thought he lost, but unbeaten at 160. Incredible. If you were to rewind 5 years, I would have said both of those guys are going to be pay-per-view stars and in discussion to be pound for pound top 5. I think Jamel in most people's is 10. I don't think Jamal doesn't make most people's list. I just expected more. Honestly, I expected more. And maybe I'm just being greedy. Maybe maybe it's my problem as opposed to their problem. Again, Jamel will say, 1 second, look what I've done. And Jamal could say the same thing. I just expected a bit more from both of them. Especially Jamal Charlo. I think Jamel, again, has done enough. I expect Jamel actually should be going to 160 now. He should leave everyone behind at 154 and seek challenges at 160 and potentially seek challenges at 168. He's very, very big. I just expected more. As for Tim Tszyu, obviously Tim Tszyu got that good win against Tony Harrison, and Tim Tszyu now is waiting for Charlo. Remember, it was supposed to be Jamel. Jamel got injured. Harrison stepped in. I like Tim. He put a beating on Harrison. That should, if I'm Charlo, that should wake me up to say, okay, this isn't going to be as easy as I expected. But according to Tim, looks like he's just getting smashed in Vegas. Tyson Fury on next opponent. I'm not very optimistic about any of the names. Tyson Fury started to speak a little bit of recent. There's been some talk about Tyson Fury waiting, this sort of 4-man tournament at the end of the year. There's been Tyson Fury waiting for his fee to be kind of elevated to 90 million. I don't know if that's true or not. But look, if I'm Tyson Fury and those Saudis are paying stupid money, I'm waiting for the stupid money. If they want to just pay me ridiculous money, I'm waiting for it. The only problem I think Tyson Fury have is if he prices himself out, which I think he probably did for the Usyk fight. Not sure what Tyson Fury does. Frank's been speaking about getting him out in July. What are we now? May. So we've only got a couple of months. If you're going to get someone out in July, you need to announce something now. The problem is all the possible opponents are kind of just being like crossed off, aren't they? Like there was talk about a Zhang fight. Zhang's obviously now going to fight Joe Joyce. So that one's gone. It's clearly not going to be Usyk because Usyk looks like he's waiting for either Dubois or this winter tournament. So that one's gone. It won't be AJ. There was talks before. We know it won't be AJ because, well, it's just not going to be AJ. AJ, I think, should have a fight in the summer, but if not, AJ will fight Wilder next. So that one's gone. And of recent, there's been talks about Andy Ruiz, which I think is a fantastic fight. It's a fight that I think would excite the crowd. I think it will get Tyson Fury excited as well. It will do good numbers. Former champion, former unified champion, let's not forget, after that win. And, he's been, I'm going to say active. He's not really been active, but he's coming off a Luis Ortiz win, which isn't to be sniffed at. So that's the one, isn't it? But it looks like that's not going to happen because Frank Warren said that Andy Ruiz is basically pricing himself out of the fight. I'd love to know what these figures are that pricing himself out of. Like, I actually think Fury versus Ruiz, if promoted correctly, is a big fight. I think it does good numbers for BT Sports pay-per-view. Tyson Fury is now a stadium fight. I was going to say, is it a stadium fight? But Fury is a stadium fighter, so it will do the 80 to 90,000. I like the fight. I like that fight a lot. And of all those on that list, Zhang, Fury, Zhang, AJ, Usyk, it seems to be the more realistic one. But look, if Ruiz wants big, this is the problem now with Ruiz. Ruiz got so much money for the second AJ fight. He thinks that's the money, right? That's it now. That's what I'm worth. And I don't know if that is the case. You were worth that fight because, well, you were the champion. You beat the champion. You were the champion. So you probably got paid so well. So he's probably looking at Fury and thinking, well, I kind of want that money. I want that kind of same money to fight you, which probably isn't going to be the case. So yeah, I don't know what Fury does next. I'm just trying to, if it's not any of those four, like what is realistic for Tyson Fury in July? Like what's realistic? I mean, he gave Chisora a chance. So I mean, look, he could fight anyone. Tyson Fury, we've seen that before. He doesn't necessarily always go with the next man up, does he? He can pick anyone from the top 20. But all right, let's go for it. So there's this box rec open. Usyk, no. AJ, no. Ruiz, no. Wilder, no. White, no. Ortiz, no. Dubois, obviously not. Zhang, no. Joe Joyce, obviously not. Joseph Parker, got a fight coming up, no. Pulev, no. Frank Sanchez is fighting Chris Arreola, no. Hrgovic. The next two on the list are the ones that probably make the most sense if Fury is going to want to fight. Bakole and Hrgovic. Those are the on the list. These are the next two that make sense. There's others on the list, but those are the only ones that you're like, okay, think you'll get away with that. I think people would accept Hrgovic, although Hrgovic has been quite inactive. We haven't seen Hrgovic since the Zhang defeat, and I think people would accept Bakole, whose name's starting to get some heat around it. But anyone else, not just anyone else, fans won't accept. Anyone else, I don't think Fury's going to get up for, and I don't think Fury's going to accept. So we'll see what happens. But I'm starting to believe that there is some truth with regards to this 4-man tournament. I just feel like the numbers are going to be just stupid. I think AJ Wilder, because we know Eddie's been over there, that might happen. Fury Usyk, I'm not quite sure. Ben Shalom explains Clark Wardley fallout. Clark is A-side. Fight will be on his terms. Clark is not A-side. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not even saying this from a DAZN Matchroom standpoint. Why would Clark be A? And why are we even talking A-side, B-side for British Star? But why would Clark be A-side? Like, what's the reason? Is Clark put 10,000 bums on seats? Like, what is it? I don't understand. Forget the A-side, B-side nonsense. It's not happening. I watched an interview that Boxing News. By the way, Boxing News, shout out to Rob Tebbit. Obviously, it was ID Boxing. ID Boxing bought out Boxing News or joined with Boxing News, merged. I think it was bought out, and now it is Boxing News. And look, Rob Tebbit is doing some serious stuff in the boxing scene. He's not playing, is he? I've always said that Rob Tebbit's the best interviewer out there, but his brain's a bit more than that. I feel disrespectful just calling him an interviewer. He isn't that. He literally is just an all-rounder. Does so much behind the scenes as well. So yeah, anyway, look, Boxing News did an interview with Ben Shalom, and they were kind of pushing him, and Ben Shalom was like, well, we're not going to chuck our guy into a 12-rounder when he's only done 6-rounders. So I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you sent an offer to Wardley, like Wardley's highest offer to have the fight. So there's a lot of bullshit being spoken here. Not sure what's going on here. I'm confused. It seems now as though 258 wanted the fight, Fraser Clark wanted the fight, but it seemed as though Sky and Boxer and Ben Shalom didn't want the fight. I initially thought maybe it was 258 that didn't want it. It seems as though no, 258 wanted. They were pursuing it, and Ben Shalom's decided no, we're not doing that. Weird, strange. Again, I was ringside when Wardley had his last fight, and Fraser Clark was there like a bear wanting to jump over the fucking top rope and fight him. He's desperate for this fight. If I'm him, I'm not happy, and yeah, I'm having conversations with everyone. Anything else? Hearn on Prograis. Pressure's on us to deliver big fight. If we can't, we'll probably lose him. Yeah, they need to get him something. I think the big fight for him, really, and I don't know if Prograis will consider it a big fight, but it's Jack Catterall. That's probably the one. The 140 division's an interesting one. There are names in it, but none of them are really. None of them are like you could fill out an arena, like a 20,000 seat arena. I don't think any of them are that. I don't think Josh is that. People might argue and say he is. I'm not quite sure if he is. Teofimo, I don't know if he's that. I mean, look, Josh is fighting Teofimo in the Hulu Fitter. So that kind of answers that question. Think about it. Josh is fighting Teofimo Lopez. So the two perceived biggest names aren't fighting in the big arena in MSG. They're fighting in the smaller one. So there isn't that big name where, okay, this is the money fight. It could be Ryan when Ryan jumps up. It could be some of the other 135ers when they jump up. But it's a weird division where someone could become a superstar, but there's not a superstar yet in terms of bums on seats and pay-per-views. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they can do. All right, anything else? Did I read this one out yesterday? I'm not quite sure, but let's have a read of it again. Devin Haney, I don't like Loma. I want to beat him bad. Send him into retirement. Okay. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can do against Lomachenko. You know I'm a big Loma fan, so I just kind of hate the fact that they're taking him on now at 35 years of age. I don't think any of these guys would have hanged with him a few years back. I really don't. And I'm including Shakur in that, by the way. I thought Loma was so special, but 35, all the injuries, let's see what they can do with him. Surely they can beat the old man. Surely. Peace.